Computer, Zoom is overwhelmed this week, as you all can probably imagine. So in Tuesday's webinar, we're recording to the cloud. We're still waiting on the cloud to give us that recording. So we're gonna try it a different way today. I know, that's what I said. But I've sent out tickets. I'm like tagged to an alert. I'm like, just send me all the updates Zoom to my phone so we can have that recording. So hopefully with the recording happening today on my computer, it'll be much easier. So very quickly, just wanted to say hello and welcome to everyone, and thank you so much for joining today's webinar. I'm incredibly excited to have Amira and the Struct Club team here on the call to talk about how you can turn your classes into virtual offerings that you can sell so your students can continue to connect with you and take classes. I'm a fitness and branding coach, but also, like so many of you who've joined this call, and also a group fitness instructor. And as you know, there's so much going on right now in the world. So it's not just in one state or one country, but across the globe. And as you know, we saw the news happening and saw all the different pieces moving, recognize that we wanted to make sure that there are systems and structures so that each of you as instructors can really be able to take your classes and meet your clients where they are and to continue to connect with your students. So thought it was really important that we bring, you know, options for you to really think through. I'm excited because Struct Club is a great option, not only to bring to your clients, but for those of you who do things like this. And I don't do it anymore, but I used to, where I put my entire playlist on like post-it notes and I'd be like, hey, what was that class 5 weeks ago? Where is it? Struct Club has been a game changer for me in the last year. So it's also gonna be good for you when you're planning your classes as well. So with that, I'm gonna turn it over to Amira, who is the founder and CEO of Struct Club, and she's gonna take you through how to actually use the app. I'll be hanging out with you all in the chat, and I'll have everyone on mute, and then at the end of the call, we'll open it up for Q&A, and I'll let you all come off of mute and ask any questions that you'd like.
Rock on. Thanks, Dynasti. And I have to say, it takes a lot to get me out of my own little wolf cave. And the last time I did a webinar, it took Dynasti to pull me out there too. I think it was something like 6 months ago. I know I should do it more often. But I'm Amira. As you all know, I'm the founder and CEO at Struct Club. I'm going to share my screen just to take us through our agenda. Just a little bit of organization that I have pulled up. So just going to give a little brief intro, a tour of Struct Club, a bit about the comp model behind the Struct Shop, which some of you might have seen at store.structclub.com, as well as some of the emails that we had sent out about this webinar to help people post and sell their own classes. And then there's a little bit of a gift and surprise at the end. If we don't get to it, Dynasti is going to be sure to share a special code with everybody at the end of the presentation. So, you know, this actually is a little bit freezy, but let's see if, in the meantime, let's just go ahead and tour Struct Club. I think I recognize a bunch of all of you just from our membership, some of the emails. A lot of us, we have talked one-on-one before, but in terms of just my own motivation and background behind Struct Club, I've been teaching fitness for 3 years, and when I started, I was looking for a tool for a really long time to help me design and run my classes and really just be able to do the very best that I could to connect with people in the actual class setting. And then beyond, I've coached international students, and sometimes when the program is over, we're not going to be in class together the next day or the next week. They're headed back home. So a digital solution to allow me to continue to stay connected with them, to continue to serve them. So that is a little bit of background behind the inspiration of Struct Club. I'm gonna start, you're gonna see on the left-hand side of the screen a little cast of my phone with the Struct Club app. So I've jumped in, and these are my classes. Spring Has Sprung is the class on top, and the way that these are created is starting from a playlist. So on the bottom right, down here, you'll see this plus button. That's how you start creating a class. And for me, I use Spotify. So it's going to be pulling my playlists in from Spotify. It also integrates with Apple Music. And let's go and pick the Struct Spring 2020 playlist. You can see a little preview of the playlist, and we automatically pull all BPMs from these tracks. You'll see them on the right-hand side. This playlist is, in fact, the one that I'm looking for. So I'm going to select it. And when I do, it'll take us to the class design timeline. And we'll just walk through it. Every single piece here is designed to walk you through every last step so you don't get lost. Up top, it says meet the class timeline. The top bar is for adding moves and cues, and the bottom bar displays the current track. Here, this is a little pop-up that tells you how to switch and delete tracks if you want to change things up. So I'm not going to play the track here because it'll kind of compete with different mics, but as you're listening through your playlist, you can tag those tracks with various moves and cues according to what types of motions or motivational cueing that you might be inspired to input into class at that point in time. So we're going to go ahead and click edit. And I think this song is a warm-up type of class. You can dial up or down the intensity to display. It'll actually color code that track and that move during class. So here you can see the different options, and we're going to make this warm up a little bit on the easier side. You can see that BPM readout. I think that's a little bit quick for a warm up, and I teach spin classes, so my tempo will display an RPM. I'm gonna cut it in half with that little BPM divided by 2 in the middle, hit done. And then at the beginning of class, I want to remember to, let's say, welcome my students. Sometimes I can forget that. You can also input in the notes any kind of kinesthetic cueing, anything that might be inspirational, any reminders, number of reps out of the entire set. It's totally open to you. And then we'll save that down and you'll see that populate in the timeline. If there's a certain beat drop or a certain moment or transition to music that you want to mark, just hit at the bottom, add mark, and it'll put this little flag in the segment. And then this is reminding us again, just as an onboarding instruction to add those cues and add that detail. Then we can save it down at any point in time. There are a lot of other details here we can walk through during the Q&A, or I can also point you to our YouTube channel or our support channel for increased one-on-one just walkthroughs and tours of the platform. But we're going to exit here and test out what it looks like when we're actually playing a class. More shortcuts. You can see the details in the summary. Or when you're ready to go, you can just hit play and then run class. And it's going to go ahead and play out the music. We don't have any music streaming in our app. It's streaming out of your music app in the background. And you can see what's up, the tempo that we had input, that intensity level, and the time that's left in this interval. You can also see, of course, the album art, the artist, and how that intensity will map out throughout the song, what we're doing, what's coming up next, how long, and so on and so forth. And here's where our notes show up. There's that welcome to class. I've reminded myself to introduce myself, telling everybody that, hey, this is cycle class, it's a rhythm ride, what have you. I'll pause that here. And there we go. So that is kind of the class design walkthrough. I'm going to see if Google Chrome will open up to display our shop. I'll pull down this phone. All right, so when you go to structclub.com, you'll see at the very top, we have this piece called the Struct Shop. That'll take us to our store, and this is where classes that are completed can be posted and sold. Originally, we kicked this off, and some of you have already been customers of this, but kick this off with template classes, so pre-made stuff that you can mix, match, copy and paste different tracks. You can use them as templates or just hit play and be ready to go. But with this campaign, we're starting to post instructor-led, and yes, fitness money shot, instructor-led classes. So, and I'll go through a couple of instructions as to how we'll go about posting. But let's check out this Hit Play class by Coach Amira. So a couple opportunities to display visuals here. We have this hero banner. We'll have the name of your class, kind of a profile photo that shows up on the front of our storefront, and then a quick overview. Over here it says, just a bit about the class, a bit about you. Get your ride on with this 45-minute rhythmic HIIT cycle class. Again, for me, in my case, I'm a cycle coach. Designed with intervals timed to the beat drop and work to rest ratio stimulating that ever sought afterburn effect. The playlist includes something for everyone, a variety of hip hop, EDM, rock, pop, and alternative bangers. Just hit play, and my notes will give you all the techniques to succeed. So not only does this work from an instructor's point of view, but in our testing, this works really well for the client view as well, especially if they've been to your class, they know how your moves work, they can hear your voice when they see these notes, and they can have these notes even at home, whether it's playing on their stationary bike, or they're going on a run, or they're doing a yoga set or a HIIT set at home. This will guide them through every step of the way with your behind-the-scenes cues. There's a little bit more info that we can add, and we really highly recommend including the actual playlist. It would seem, some people, we get asked, well, if I provide the playlist, what's stopping them from using the playlist for their own workouts? That's perfectly fine. We actually find that giving away the playlist for free sells the class and convinces people to buy it, because they're not quite sure when they're listening to that music exactly what to do. They're not sure what it is that you envisioned or choreographed, and there's really no way to know except for being able to purchase that class. And in fact, it'll be really useful for them to get additional track ideas for future classes, but this is a really great way that we have noticed people have been influenced to make the purchases on these classes. We highlight again the featured genres. The music piece is really important to people. And then we have a little bit of disclosure here on a huge benefit for the clients, which is to use the program as is or as inspiration to shake things up. They can go in, if say they need a modification, they can customize and add that. If they want to reuse some of those tracks again for the future, or turn a 45-minute class into a 30-minute class, they can go ahead and edit the class to do that themselves. So there's an incredible amount of customizability, which is a huge benefit of the platform. I'm going to jump back into our agenda, Prezzo. Oh yeah, little brag note, Struct Club has been featured in CNBC, Forbes, Apple Newsroom, Angel List's 23 favorite female-founded companies, alongside companies like ClassPass and The Honest Company, as well as Voyage LA magazine. That's not to brag, it's just to say that you all are in the company of a lot of great brands and a really strong presence worldwide. And on that, we have run just about 1 million workouts through our platform. I know it looks like a little app, across 40 states and 20 countries. So we have a massive community, and we're growing every single day. So that is a community that you're part of when you're a member of the Struct Club. So on to-dos, these are the next steps to get your stuff posted. First off, design those classes in the Struct Club app. Make sure to check, it would really help out to check for things like typos, making sure that those notes are accessible from a client's viewpoint and not just shorthand from an instructor's standpoint. And then email support@structclub.com. I'll also share my own email at the end, but subject line, audition, and class title. We need the titles of the classes that you've designed, as well as the email of your account, which you'll be emailing from, to be able to take a look at the classes that you'll be auditioning to post on the shop. pricing for the app, it's free to download. You're free to make 2 classes at any point in time. We'll be sharing some special promo codes at the end for extended free access. But up front, for unlimited use, the annual membership costs $10.83 a month. And monthly, if you just want to pay month to month, it's $15.99 a month. However, can be perpetually free if you continue to refer friends who subscribe. When you refer friends, they also get a free month too. So every time you bring on a friend into the Struct Club, you get a month free and they get a month for free. And then in terms of the shop and how your revenue works, we will guarantee that you'll make $35 per class at least. We'll pay that up front for auditions that pass through our approvals and checks process. And then in addition, for any sale on top of that $35 that we've guaranteed, you'll make a 50% commission on that class that has been sold. And imagine comparing that to when you go to the studio, you're paid anywhere between, depending on the location, I've seen $12, I've seen people, paid on a voluntary basis, and then the club or the studio is generating the revenue off of the ticket sales. Well, imagine if you were making 50% off each of those seats that were booked, and that's basically how this works. And then any classes that are sold over 100, of course, we market these ourselves. It's on basically the front page of our website, Struct Shop. An additional 75% commission off of any sales over 100 classes. And then swag, so a couple more benefits. Today, as of today, and for the next 7 days until the 26th of March, only for the first 100 people who act, with this special code, Dynasti Wolfpack, on www.structclub.com, you get $38 off the annual membership. So we have never offered anything like this before. It's really only for a limited time. Dynasti has done so much for us, and the community altogether has been really great. And we also want to help people save money during this time too. We're super understanding of that. And so you will use this code on the website, not in the app, only on the website to transact that $30 off the annual membership. And we've got, 12 minutes left, it looks like, for Q&A. And then, here's my contact information. So you can screenshot that. I know Dynasti will be sharing it after. I'll keep it up for a second. Let me see if there are any.
So no questions in the chat, but wanted to just flag, and folks, you're welcome to, if you want to just go and unmute, you're welcome to unmute yourself and just ask me your questions directly. Two of the things that I threw out there to the group, just in terms of ways to think about making additional income or ways to sell, I think there's those selling to students, right? So if you've got a student, say that you do an IG Live. So an IG Live goes on, you do it for 30 minutes, for example, and then you have it up there for 24 hours. But what happens in the IG Live is you can't get paid from that, but it's a nice way to market, like, hey, if you want to come work out with me and experience how I'm working out or how I teach, you can do it through that system. But then you might have clients who are like, that was an awesome workout, I want to do that over and over again. I'm not going to always have access to video. I want to find some way to do that workout again and again. This is a great way of being able to do that, where you can give your students access to it. You can sell them access to the playlist, and they can have it unlimited times. They can do the workout anywhere. The other thing I have is, and I'm not sure, for different instructors, but I know when I am at the studio teaching, a lot of times I will get clients who are like, I'm traveling right now. Lots of folks aren't traveling, but we're going to think future in advance when things calm down, hopefully soon. You'll have clients who are like, oh, that was a great class. I really want the playlist, or I'm traveling somewhere and I'd love to have the playlist in the workout. Can you send me your notes? And if they're on a Post-it note, probably can't send you my notes in that Post-it note, but if they're already in Struct Club and you've put them on the Struct Shop, then you can easily say, yeah, go to my Struct Club, Struct Shop, grab this playlist. It's whatever the price is, and then they can buy it from you. And then it gets to Amir's point on that overhead. It kind of cuts out the overhead of the studio taking additional cost. And that's you working directly with your client. The other thing is I have talked to a few instructors who have said, right now things are just like so chaotic and I'm trying to get my head around everything that I want to be able to teach and do some IG lives or do some different live workouts, but I don't have time to actually plan the structure of my class. So you have a whole other group that you can market to, which is other instructors who want to just like take your exact playlist and your exact class. They can buy it from you and they can tweak it a little bit for their standards or what they want for their students. So it's another way of thinking about how to market and sell, that you've got both your students that you're thinking about, but you've also got fellow instructors who may also love what you're doing and want to teach your exact same class. Nice way of building a following and selling your class to them as well.
Okay, I just thought of something. So, Amira, for people who create for people who create classes regularly, will they get a discount on the Struct Shop, the Struct membership, or will they still pay normal fee? Pay the normal fee.
So for people who create classes regularly, okay, so the way that the membership works is, here are the tiers. First step is to download for free. Second step is you get 2 class library slots for free as well. And then beyond that, if you want to jump in and create unlimited classes without any referrals to friends, that is the normal membership fee. So either on a monthly basis, that's the $15.99 a month, or if you pay annually up front, the $10.83 a month. However, if you refer friends and everybody in the app has a there's like a little gift box on the upper right-hand corner of the platform. And in that little gift box, you have your own special unique referral code. If you give that to a friend, they subscribe, you will get a month for free and they will get a month for free. So we do reward referrals. And so while, there is that additional cost for going into the unlimited membership, provided that you bring in friends, we do reward that engagement and we do reward that loyalty. Virtually, you could, if you were, bringing in another new friend or instructor or somebody who subscribes every month, you could both continually get access to the platform for free.
Okay. Alrighty, perfect. So, alright, that's it. So, if you guys want to take over.
Cool. That's a really great question. Thanks for clarifying.
Okay, no problem.
Oh, Dynasti, I think you're on mute.
I am on mute. Zoom just told me. Any other questions that folks have out there?
Hi, I have a question. Hi, Sam here.
Hi, Sam.
Hi, Amira. Thanks for the rundown. This is a super cool opportunity. Are you anticipating that most of the classes are going to be mainly for spinning?
So when we started, we do, and I think a lot of it is because personally I am a cycle instructor and we started with my own network, that initially a lot of the classes will, I anticipate, probably be cycling classes. But that said, every single day we see people running classes from Pilates to yoga, HIIT, circuit classes, boot camps, aerial yoga format. So all kinds of formats are accessible to plan and design and run in the app. It's really just about the structure of the choreography and the structure of the workout and mapping that to the music. So anything that is music inspired or goes along with the music is a viable format within the platform.
And is there any chance you could share like an example of the notes you expect, like in detail and whatnot? Because I have a lot of classes I've created that I would love to share, but my notes are definitely not understandable by the common person because I'll write, I guess, like shorthand for myself. So I guess I'm just curious what like you're looking for in terms of like depth and detail that you think just like somebody who's downloading one of these would want and like, I guess, particularly retain.
Yeah, so the first shortcut that I would recommend, and that reminds me that we should distribute a guide with, some nitpicky details like,
that would be awesome.
Please abstain from objectionable content, like things that if you have explicit cues in class, we just want people to feel welcomed and feel like the cueing is accessible for them and not feel unwelcomed by anything that somebody might, write in the open notes. And I mean, so anyway, we can distribute kind of like nitty gritty details like that. But the first order of just overarching concept there and principle is the easiest thing will be to take a look at the class from the perspective of somebody who's just doing it for the first time, like looking at it and being like, okay, could I work out to this on my own? And that in 80% of cases will cover 80% of stuff. So that would just be the first. That's actually really the overarching tip for all of our little micro tips that we would have underneath. We also have recommendations around, making sure there's a balance between different types of voices, a variety of typically more than one genre. But overall, we want these classes to be accessible. We want them to be impactful. We want them to be inclusive, and we want them to represent your authentic style. So that's the most important thing. We don't want to dampen anybody's style, but want people to just be able to look at it and say, all right, I know what's going on.
Well, thank you.
For sure.
Amir, the other thing I would add is two things. I think, Sam, to your question, I am certified in cycling, but the main thing I teach is a HIT format. And so I think it can absolutely be used for different formats. It's all about what you put into the app. And I like to think about, if you're approaching your class and you're thinking about how do I make it accessible to my students, and also so that the cueing doesn't come across as weird, because it's like your own special cueing that you might have in a class that somebody might look at it and read and go, oh, I'm not sure if that makes sense or not. I like to liken it to, personally, if I was buying a workout guide from someone and I don't have the videos, I just bought the workout guide and they're like, here's the plan for this month. And you've seen those out there where someone will send a workout guide and you pay for the workout guide and it has the plan. And it gives just those like general instructions. But in those general instructions, I'm like, oh, okay, in my head, I know what a squat is. I know what a sumo squat is. So that makes sense. So trying to think about putting in language that's very common. But what I love about Struct Club is, like, not only do you get the PDF guide, if you will, of the notes for the student, but then it's time to the beat of music. Because so many times my students are like, yeah, but I want the playlist too to go along with the notes. So it's a nice way of like syncing the two together. But I like to think about, if you're liking it to like a PDF guide that you buy from someone who's like, here's your fitness workout plan, but it's not on video. What are the cueing, or what is the verbiage that they put in that guide, using similar language?
Yes. I guess another thing that I thought was just an interesting and helpful reflection from the webinar we had with Mandy and Lovedom on Monday, or on Tuesday rather, is that, yes, getting set up in kind of a different modality than we're used to teaching can be a little bit tedious. It's a little bit grinding. It's a change in pace. And that in itself can present sometimes like psychological and emotional inertia. It can just be challenging to make that switch. That said, first off, when it comes to at least our platform with Struct Club, I at first was very skeptical that for people like my notes and my playlist would be enough without a live class or without a video. But in having people wanting to purchase the classes and the notes after class, and people within just kind of our wolf pack really wanting to continue to support. I know that there are people out there that are in your tribe who are really wanting to show up to your class, but can't at this point in time, or, it might be for the immediate future prudent for them to stay home, that continually do want to support you. They do want to show up for you. And so finding a channel for that to make it possible, while really, like, all this are kind of the notes that you make for class anyway. In some ways, you don't need to do a video. You don't need to get done up. You don't need to have the sparkly, leggings or anything fancy like that. No crazy production value. All you're doing is passing off the notes and the planning that you've already made. And that, in a lot of cases, is good enough for most folks. I know it's 11:30.
It is, and I want to be respectful of everyone's time. So Amira, thank you so much for jumping on and letting me convince you to do yet another webinar. We appreciate it so much. We will share this recording as well as the code, the special code after this call. We're going to hope that that recording comes through since it's on my computer, but I will send it within the next couple of hours. If you have questions, I'll also include Amira's email so that you can reach out to her, as well as you can also reach out to me. I'm constantly thinking about, particularly while I'm at home, trying to think about other ways I can help support each of you, trying to think about other trainings, other webinars that would be super helpful. So when you get the email, if you're like, oh, Dynasti, I'd love to talk about this, please let me know. It is my intent and my commitment that I want to support us as a community as much as possible, as well as I know that is the commitment of Amira and the Struct Club team. So just super appreciative to each of you for joining and taking some time out with us today.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. And I hope we'll continue to be in touch after the webinar.
Yes, definitely. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.